Was 68 when my world changed in one afternoon, and it changed so quietly that even the walls of my small living room did not understand what had happened that day. I had raised my daughter Lily with every sacrifice a mother could give, and when she married Ethan I prayed she would finally live a gentle life because she had already seen hard days after her father passed away early in her childhood. For years things looked normal from the outside, but inside my daughter's home something darker was growing, and she hid it from me like a wound she did not want anyone to touch. One Sunday I arrived with a warm apple pie because my hands always found comfort in baking, and I knew Lily loved this recipe since childhood. But instead of her usual smile she opened the door with red swollen eyes and a trembling voice. She kept saying everything is fine even though nothing was fine. Before I could ask anything, Ethan walked into the hallway, his face stiff, his jaw tight like he owned the air inside that house, and he said I came without calling and that I always interfered and that Lily did not need me anymore. I did not understand why he was speaking to me like this because I had always been polite, soft and grateful, just to be a small part of my daughter's life. Lily stood behind him, not speaking, not blinking, like someone holding a storm inside her chest, and I took one step forward to reach her and ask why she was shaking, but Ethan shoved me back so hard I fell against the wall and pain shot down my arm. I whispered, "Ethan, please don't do this, I am your mother-in-law, I mean no harm." But he stepped closer and punched me right in my shoulder. The shock was so strong that I felt my knees collapse, and before I could catch my breath Lily grabbed my hair like I was a stranger trespassing her home, and she dragged me down the steps while my apple pie rolled into the garden. I kept calling her name but she would not look at me. She kept saying, "You made everything worse, Mom, you made him angry." I had never heard my daughter's voice sound so broken and lost. The neighbor across the street saw everything and shouted asking if I needed help, but Lily slammed the door before anyone could step forward. I sat on the cold sidewalk, confused, embarrassed, and hurting, but more than that I felt a deeper pain, a pain that comes when your own child becomes a stranger. The neighbor, Mrs. Turner, came running, and when she saw my bruises she called 911 because my hands were shaking too much to hold the phone and my voice could not form proper words. The police arrived and asked me what had happened, but I could not speak without crying, and all I kept saying was, "Please help my daughter, something is very wrong inside that house." They took photos of my injuries and asked if I wanted to press charges, but all I wanted was to understand what had broken my daughter so much. I spent the night in the emergency room, and when the nurse cleaned the bruises she quietly whispered, "I see this more than you think. Sometimes the one who hurts the most is the one who has been controlled the longest." The next morning a young female officer named Grace came to speak with me. She had a voice steady like someone who had seen too much pain but still refused to give up on people. She told me they had gone to check on Lily, but Ethan refused to let them inside. He said everything was fine and that I was unstable and confused. That was the moment I realized I had to choose between protecting my daughter's pride or protecting my daughter's life. I told the officer everything I had kept inside for years, the small signs, the subtle changes, the fear in Lily's eyes whenever Ethan was near. I told her how my daughter had stopped visiting me, how she apologized for things she had never done, how she defended Ethan even when no one was attacking him. Officer Grace listened and said, "I am going to help you, but you must be brave because daughters under control will not reach out until they finally break." A few days later I received a call from a women's shelter. They had found Lily outside a grocery store crying uncontrollably. She told a stranger she could not go home because Ethan had locked her out after taking her phone and purse. He had accused her of talking to me too much. The shelter arranged a meeting between us, and when I walked into that quiet room Lily could not even lift her head. She kept saying, "Mom, I am sorry I hurt you, I am sorry I dragged you, I am sorry for everything." I took her hands and told her I knew she was hurting, and I never blamed her because control changes a person's mind until they cannot see who loves them and who harms them. She cried like a child in my arms and finally admitted what she had hidden for 7 years: the insults, the threats, the nights he forced her to sleep on the floor, the times he broke her phone so she could not reach me, the months he did not allow her to work or even step outside alone. Her soul was bruised long before my body was bruised. The shelter helped her file reports and the police obtained a protective order. The judge granted her temporary rights to the house because Ethan had been using it to trap her and control her movement. When Ethan received the notice he tried calling me, leaving angry messages saying I ruined his family and that I filled Lily's head with lies, but this time his words did not scare me because I finally had the law and the truth standing beside us. After weeks of counseling, something in Lily began to awaken, a part of her that Ethan had nearly crushed. She started smiling again, tiny soft smiles, but they were real. She found a job at a small bookstore and said she had forgotten what peace felt like. One evening she sat with me on the porch and said, "Mom, you saved my life. Even when I pushed you away, I knew deep down you were the only person who, wow."